Hello Pioneers, in the last episode of our Satisfactory series, we bridged the gap to nuclear with turbo fuel. Now it's time to go all in on nuclear power. We're scouting a location, crunching the numbers for uranium fuel cells, and designing a fully self-sustaining factory that can handle all the waste and maximizes efficiency. Let's start planning the future of our factory. So with our new turbo fuel generator factory up and running, we have quite a little bit of power to play with, not that much power. Not enough power to complete phase 4, I don't think. And to complete phase 4, we also need this nuclear pasta stuff. So I think it's time as our next step to get nuclear power online. We have all the tools at our disposal now that we've finished tier 7 and tier 8. So we have all the tech. Let's go through it real quick to see what's going on. The nuclear power starts in tier 8 as the second milestone. You can scan for uranium and make these encased uranium cells, which is used to produce uranium fuel rods for nuclear power, made from uranium ore, okay? Then there's these electromagnetic rods that also seem to be relevant, and then the uranium fuel rod, okay. Caution, produces radioactive uranium waste when consumed, okay? Moderately radioactive. This is not radioactive, this is radioactive. That's another thing that we need to account for, the fact that all this crap is radioactive. So yeah, this thing produces nuclear waste, always generates power at the set clock speed, shuts down if fuel requirements are not met, consumes nuclear fuel rods and water. Okay. So if it consumes water, which makes sense, nuclear power plants, as advanced as they are, ultimately at the end of the day, just boil water. This is the part that we don't care about. Now, with the waste, what do we do with it? Uranium-238 isotope. Okay. It's not going to tell me what the uranium gets converted to, is it? And I can't test this without everything becoming radioactive. Oh god. Let's have a look at nuclear pasta. We'll work backwards. A pressure conversion cube turns into nuclear pasta with copper powder. I don't know what any of these are. So fused, this stuff we do know. We can turn radio control units and fused modular frames into this pressure conversion cube. Copper powder is made from copper ingots, and we just grind it into powder inside a constructor, apparently. A plutonium fuel rod. Does it tell me what this does? So a plutonium fuel rod is probably a better version of a uranium fuel rod. There we go. Used as fuel for nuclear power plants. Okay. 1.5 million energy. Okay. To make encased plutonium pellets, we need plutonium pellets, which is made from non-fissile uranium. Is this the stuff that comes out of uranium waste? No, that's uranium waste used in plutonium pellets. Okay, cool. So non-fissile uranium is made from more uranium waste. There we go. So we meant to turn this uranium into plutonium and then turn it into plutonium rods and then do stuff. Okay, that's fine. This is a very, very complex process. So here's my thought process at the moment. We are taking uranium and we're turning it into encased uranium cells in a blender. So we're mixing uranium with concrete with sulfuric acid, then turning that into encased uranium cell. Cool. Then we need to make electromagnetic control rods, which are made of stators and AI limiters, which is made from copper and quick wire, and that's made from steel and copper. So we pretty much need everything, right? Then we need this uranium fuel rod, which is the actual fuel for the reactor, which is made from encased industrial beam and electromagnetic control rods. Fine. If you're enjoying the video and you want to support DataEngineerPlays, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to share them in the comment section. Alright, I'm going to make a list of the entire process and then we're going to figure out a plan. Oh boy, are you guys ready for some rabbit holing? So, to do this, I've written down all my notes on how we're going to do it. The plan is basically to make uranium, push it through a nuclear reactor, and then with the waste, turn it into plutonium, push that through more nuclear reactors. But then when I was doing the numbers for everything, I was like, well, should we do this just independently on site, or should we link this into our main factory? Now there's pros and cons for doing it both ways. The pros for doing it completely separately is that, well, it's completely independent of the main factory, right? We're not the main factory doesn't become a key dependence on the functioning of our nuclear power plant. We can like tear down the main factory one day and we'll still have our nuclear power. However, if we look at the production requirements for this, we pretty much need to make everything. We basically need to make a whole new factory for this. We need to make sulfuric acid stators, AI limiters to make the EM rods. Then we need to make the uranium fuel rods and then we need to make like non-fissile uranium, all this stuff. This entire production process, I've pretty much charted it down. So we'll go through it real quick. So I was targeting for 4 nuclear power plants, which needs 0.8 rods, a bunch of water, that's fine. And it produces 40 nuclear waste. To make those fuel rods, we need 2 uranium fuel rod manufacturers, which needs encased uranium cells and encased industrial beams. Here's the production chain for encased industrial beams. That's all pretty straightforward. To make the EM rods, we need 1, but we need 1.5 for later, the plutonium stuff. That means we need stators and AI limiters, and that's the production chain for stators and AI limiters. None of that is a problem. 1.6 encased uranium cell blenders to make turn the 80 uranium into the 40 encased uranium cells we need, and a sulfuric acid refinery basically just to make the sulfuric acid for this entire process. Sulfuric acid is used in the encased uranium blender process. Great, this is fine. I'm happy to build this factory to make this. Then to do the downstream products for this stuff, we need these assemblers, constructors, smelters, and whatever. We need like Deuterium, we need copper, we need steel, limestone, all that basic stuff, and I'm okay with that too. Then it comes to dealing with this 40 nuclear waste that this thing's going to produce. We can obviously store the nuclear waste, but I had a little look up online, and yes, you can't sink nuclear waste, obviously, otherwise this whole process will be way too easy. But producing 40 nuclear waste per minute, you can imagine, is going to absolutely destroy our storage. Like, we're going to need a storage the size of this entire factory to make that work for, you know, a couple of hours as we play through the rest of the game. So the way to get rid of nuclear waste is to turn it into plutonium. The maths for the plutonium turning into is very, very complicated because the waste is used in both the non-fissile uranium and in the actual plutonium pellet. So they both use uranium waste. So that means we were limited by how much uranium waste we were producing, 40. If you do the split into the machines of this and this, it turns out we have to clock the machines down to 0.64, and that'll give you the perfect amount of uranium waste. 16 plus 24 is 40 to supply both these machines. The problem is these machines feed into one another because the plutonium pellet accelerator requires 64 non-fissile uranium, and if we've clocked this machine down to 64%, we're only producing half that amount, right? It will only produce 32. So to get the 60, and if we're only producing 32, then this machine's only going to run at 50%. And if that only runs at 50%, then we're not consuming all the uranium waste. We'll be left with 8 uranium waste per minute as an overflow. So that's dumb. So to get to this machine to 64 non-fissile uranium, we're going to have to overclock this blender with Summersloop to consume the same amount, but then produce the 64 non-fissile uranium that we require, which should keep this machine completely going all the time, producing 20 plutonium pellets. Then we need to turn the plutonium pellets into plutonium fuel cells. To do that, we're going to need concrete, which is fine to make the encased cells, but then we get stuck here. To make the actual fuel rod, you need the cells, steel beams, which is fine, EM rods, which is fine, heat sinks. Dude, you need heat sinks. And heat sinks require aluminum. So what? We need to make an entire aluminum factory to supply the heat sinks to turn this into plutonium. So yes, we can go over there and make an entire aluminum factory as well to produce the things. Or hear me out here, we can do this. This is the alternative method. The alternative method is just to ship EM rods from the base, ship nitric acid from the base, and ship sulfuric acid from our main base. If we ship those items over to the nuclear power plant area, then we should be able to make all of this stuff without doing any of this stuff. Then with that, we should be able to make uranium fuel rods, which just require the encased uranium. Obviously, we need to make the encased uranium over there, but that just needs concrete. So yes, we'll have to probably make a concrete manufacturer over there. But that's it. We just need to make the concrete manufacturer, and then we'll be able to make, oops, that's encased plutonium. Where's my encased uranium? All right, sorry. Encased uranium. That just requires uranium, concrete, and sulfuric acid, right? So we should be able to make that over there. The other problem is this also produces sulfuric acid, which then it's like, what do we use this sulfuric acid for? And it's not used in any of this stuff. So then we have to, what, box the sulfuric acid and destroy it somehow. Otherwise our sulfuric acid backs up. Oh man, it's a whole thing. So I guess we can probably produce sulfuric acid over there. That way this will just consume itself, right? Or we can somehow prioritize this sulfuric acid. Oh yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. We can ship the sulfuric acid and then prioritize this sulfuric acid back into itself. Fine. Then, yeah. So this is the simpler solution that involves shipping a few items from our base. So I don't know which one is better. Like this is obviously a lot more work, but then we end up creating an independent factory. And this one makes it reliant on our main factory, but is obviously a lot less work. So I'm leaning towards this one so that our nuclear power plant can become a permanent feature and completely run on its own. Because if I look at this factory that we've done over here, I'm not sure if this factory is going to be a permanent feature or not. Whether we're going to keep all this or whether we're going to tear all of this down one day to make our final factory. Because after this series is complete, I plan on doing a sort of factory mega project factory series, and in that case we might end up tearing all of this down, but nuclear power is going to be very pivotal for whatever we're doing. So I think we are going to go with the route of making a completely independent nuclear power site, independent of this factory and only providing power, which means we do need to reproduce aluminum somewhere else, which is fine. We can make a permanent aluminum refinery somewhere as part of this series and part of our next series. I'm happy to do that. So let's go ahead and start that work. To do this, we need to start finding a site for the uranium. So if we scan for uranium, let's see where it is. I know there is uranium right next to us. We marked it somewhere a long time ago. It was like a cave. There. Yep, there it is. There's uranium out there, but we need our uranium near a water source. Is this all it's going to give me? Alright, I'm going to turn to my internet map to figure out where uranium is. Maybe out here? We probably want pure uranium as well if we can, or normal at least. Alright, doing a little bit of research online, the only pure sources, well there's no pure sources of uranium, there's only normal, and they're only around inland here. There is one impure source up there, and a fully cranked up impure source on a miner Mark III can give us 300 uranium, which I think is good because if we look at our notes, that can support way more than 4, right? It can probably support 12 reactors, and one day we can always bring more uranium by train and whatever, but I think this site is good for it because it's right against the ocean, so we can build it out into the ocean into like ad infinitum. So let's head over there. It's going to be from the nitrogen gas area, and let's go scout the location. So we're basically going to be starting a whole new factory essentially, because we need to produce almost everything we've already produced over there. That'll be the start of our brand new factory, I guess. Now, I wonder if I want to bring anything to scout with. Oh yeah, I got my turbo fuel. So it's basically up there on the north coast. So we're going all the way up north to the north coast. Should we build a path? If we do build a path, where would we build a path from? It would be this way, right? Probably from here. Let's start building a path out this way. Should probably start heading up at some point, honestly. That doesn't look like enough for a 2-meter ramp. Let's try it from here. Kind of want to clear this entire top section, right? Because we want to end up building a road out this way. We're going to need to run it through this. What is this area? Let's have a look at uranium. How close we are. Not very close. I don't even see the top uranium that I need. But this is essentially clear. I think we can just go across here. Hopefully none of this stuff blocks our way. I can already see this giant rock blocks our way. Of course it does, because why not? How's our hard drives going? Oh, instant scrap. Bauxite plus coal plus sulfuric acid equals scrap and water. Interesting, interesting. Alternative radio control units that don't use oscillators, that use heat sinks instead. Yes, please. That will solve our oscillator problem. I don't have any more hard drives to scan, do I? Oh, I do. Something's shooting at me. Oh, lots of things are shooting at me. Let's keep going. Are we at the north coast yet? Is this not the north coast? Oh, it's a whole world out here. Oh my god. There's a whole bloody biome out here. Alright, this place is way, way further than I thought it would be. I think it's down there somewhere. Can we scan for it now? I was wrong. It's directly in front of us, past this rock. Or in this rock? I have no idea. Let's keep going. I think it's time to ramp down somewhere very soon to figure out. Well, let's just get to the rock and see where we're at. Alright, we made it to the giant rock. Our uranium is just in front of us. It's inside this rock. It's above this rock. Don't think so. Must be down there somewhere. Now I'm gonna get to the rock. And then we're gonna start ramping down somewhere. Probably around here. Is it over there somewhere? I'm just gonna ramp down and then we're gonna go exploring. And then we'll figure out a path back later. Where is this uranium node? Well, this is the building area I wanted because it's near water. Is this good? Let's get down to the water and have a little peek. Doesn't look like the beach that I wanted. It's a cliff edge. Oh man, that's annoying. I can't build down there. Alright, I just jumped down. I don't know if jumping down was a good idea, but I found the entrance to the cave, and I'm guessing the uranium is in here. This place is not pleasant to get in or out of. The uranium is where? Above us? It says it's 500 meters away. That means it's directly above us. Alright, I'm gonna head back up. Alright, I made it to the top where the uranium is, and I got an achievement for reaching the highest cliff on the world. But there it is. I think it's a big fat no from me for this site, because I am bringing the uranium back down there. What the heck? Not only is it super far from our base, it's on the top of a giant cliff. Alright, let's go look for another site. Now, we're over here at Alumaxor, where we're producing aluminum, and there's actually uranium right here near our base. Let's have a look at this one. The other one is that I'm thinking of is over there, 1,000 kilometers that way. But let's have a look at the close one. 300 meters that way. Is it like literally right here? Ooh, mesospheres. Okay, this thing won't let me collect it, will it? Can't tell when these things die. Alright, ignoring that dude. Right over here, I see it, I think. Where is it? 400 meters that way now. Oh, I overshot it by a lot. Oh, that's the one inside the cave below us. Okay, I see. It will be remiss of me not to go scout that one as an option. I mean, it's fun and all building it 1 kilometer out that way near the water, but let's see if there's any water source around here. I mean, there's a giant lake right here, so I don't see why this can't be our uranium processing facility. It'll make this whole area radioactive, but I'm okay with that. Where was the entrance to that cave? I don't even remember. It was like underneath the thing. It's over there, and it is near water. I think it's just in here, right? There's no entrance to it. And the good thing about this is aluminum production is right upstairs, so we can turn it all into plutonium and whatnot. Jeez. Calm down, it's alright. Is it in here? Am I in the right cave? I'm in the wrong cave, aren't I? And that thing sounds real scary. Let's get out of here. I think it's this cave area. Yeah, I remember emerging out of a giant cave like this. So yeah, this is where, like, in episode 1, I came out of this cave. There's a lot of spiders in here, I remember. These are corpses of all the spiders, and they've all respawned. Fantastic. And there it is. There's the uranium. Now, where's the exit to a cave that I can get to water? If only I could pipe this through this wall right here. Feels like it's on the other side of this wall, but I might have to bring the uranium around this cave. I can't just like punch it out through a wall, can I? Let's just double check that before I make a fool of myself. No breakable rocks around here. That would be too easy. There is death everywhere. Ow. Making a radioactive belt of uranium go out this way seems like a bad idea. And then we're at our quartz processing facility. Okay. Well, at least it's close to base if we use this. And plus, this is a belt of 600 uranium, which is pretty cool. But from here, how do I get to that lake? Oh, disgusting. Otherwise, I have to belt it the other way around to the lake. That's a very long way to belt out. You know what? I'm going to go with this one. There's a big lake up there. The uranium is right there. So if we can just pipe it out of the cave system and into the lake, we should be good. We can't take it out this way because that's up a giant cliff or something. There's a cliff in the way. But I think we can pipe it out the other way. Let me go re-scout that area and figure out a plan. Now, there's a lot of advantages of using this node. 1, it's a normal node, so it gives twice as much uranium. And 2, it's very close to our base. It's very close to our aluminium processing facility, so we can potentially just belt aluminum down here. Then we don't have to build a brand new aluminum processing facility for the plutonium section. So yeah, I think it's good to commit to this. We're not going to belt uranium out, obviously, because it's radioactive, but let's just put down a miner, and then let's put down, well, let's just put down a miner Mark II. Not going to bother world foundationing this because, you know, we're going to run a belt, basically. So yeah, we got the uranium miner on. Let's run a belt. Let me run a Mark V belt because I've got the sheets. Now I'm going to run this belt as close to the wall as possible because uranium is going to be radioactive. Preferably I want to run it into the wall. That way if I ever need to traverse through this cave ever again, I don't need a radioactive suit to do that. We're creating a row of radioactivity this way. You reckon I'll irradiate all the spiders in this cave and they'll all turn into giant green monsters? That would be a cool concept. I don't care if it runs through the wall. I'm sure there's some hack that you can like clip it through the cave. Maybe if you put a drone system on one side and then put the other drone system on the other side, the drones will just like fly through the cave wall. Oh, the giant death over there. How did I fight this thing with a Xenobasher last time? That's crazy. I killed that thing with a Xenobasher the first time I came in that cave. Those things are monsters. And that's it. That's the uranium belt out of the cave. We're here now. We just need to connect back to the water source. Where is that water source? It's all the way around here. And I guess this is where our factory is going to begin. And there's copper here conveniently because we need the copper as well. But this is our lake where our uranium factory is going to go. Let me clear the area of death. Oh my god, there is so much death here. There's 3 of these big dudes. Oh wait, no, these are just medium dudes. Any more? There's one more somewhere. Well, my fix-it indicator says no. But this is it. This is where we would build our, well, to start with 4, but then maybe potentially one day more than that uranium nuclear reactors, right? And it's pretty big and unobstructed. So we can bring it in this way, and then we can do all our factory building like up here somewhere, because all of the nuclear reactors are going to need water. So let's start tiling out an area. Oh, there it is. It can't attack me, surely, from there. Anyway, this is enough waste of my time. Trying to figure out where I can start tiling from. Probably like just here is fine. Let's put some foundation down. Snap it to the world grid. Probably like that's a good height. And then we've got all of this lake to build nuclear power plants. Let's see how that might look. We kind of want to center it between this rock and this rock. So this will be our center tile. Let's use some concrete whatever foundation to mark that. It's not going to be a big nuclear power plant system, but it'll have to do. Maybe we can start it from a little bit further back, give ourselves a little bit more room. Might as well use the whole lake, right? Not really, because not only does nuclear power need, it needs 2 water extractors to support each one. So let's see how big a nuclear reactor needs to be. This side's kind of okay, but this side's a little bit questionable. So let's work with this side. Put down a foundation anywhere. Here is as good as any. And let's see how big these nuclear power plants actually are. Very, very big. The input and output is on the same side. Oh, we need supercomputers to test with. Alright, we might as well make a pathway back to base from here somehow. Because we're going to be coming here a lot. So at the very least, let's put a hypertube system that takes us to the quartz processing facility, because we don't have one of those yet. Alright, I've got our hypertube cannon back to the quartz mine. What did we come here for? Supercomputers. We've got a Mercer sphere. We might as well tuck it on. Do we have Sam on us? By some magic? We do. We got ourselves a Mercer sphere earlier. We might as well put a dimensional depot on our supercomputers. But we'll grab a stack for now. I might empty my inventory as well. It's getting annoyingly full. Got a couple of Mercer spheres. We can actually do some stuff with it. We've got another hard drive to scan as well. Now let's see what we got. Alclad plate casing. So we can use that, and that. Wait, what? If we add copper to it, we can make casing with less aluminum. That sounds useful. Diluted package fuel, not so much. Not that useful to us right now. Plastic battery and recycled plastic. Using fuel and rubber, we can make plastic. What? Why would I want to do that? Fine, I'll take the alternative battery recipe. Damn it, should have taken the Alclad casing recipe. Well, that's what gambling is for. Let's get that hard drive scanned. And I'm going to empty the rest of my inventory now. Alright, with that, we're going to head back on our new hypertube back to the quartz area and check out how we can set up a bunch of nuclear power plants. These things are absolutely massive. Surface is too uneven. Why do you hate that? It takes up more than a 4x4 space. This lake is way too small. Ugh. That's what I was afraid of. I want 2 water extractors on the back of each one. I mean, I can do the first 2 there. Where does the water go in? Here. So we flip it the other way around. And then the water goes out the back. And we still need another row of stuff. Why am I building it that way? Is that the center of 2 tiles? Doesn't really matter anyway, because I need to pile them next to each other. You can leave 1 row of space in between. And then if I build like this, then Let's just chuck some more foundation out. Why is that invalid placement? Doesn't like it being in the rocks. It leaves very, very little room to do things on this lake. You think this lake is massive, but it's actually not that big for nuclear power. We can clear the rocks by going up. Then we'd have to pump all the water upwards from below. I suppose that's a good way to do it. So we deconstruct everything and just leave a center tile. Let's chuck down some water extractors. So you need 2 water extractors to power each. We'll get the water for each one, right? Let's confirm that. Is that aligned? I assume that's aligned. So say we get like 2 side by side like this. Then above these water extractors is where the nuclear power is going to go. So let's figure out how many walls high that needs to be. Actually, we should probably do it from the pipes perspective. I think we're good to start here. Let's just take a rough guess. And let's just chuck down a pipe junction here. I don't know where to start this thing. We'll do a pipe junction on the edge here then. Then there's another pipe junction on the other side mirroring it. Like that. Then, if we put down our water extractor, we should be able to tell where it goes. Like around there. And there. And we do another pipe junction here in line with this next one. Around there. Then we can do pipes. All this can be Mark 1 because they don't need to be Mark 2. But just for testing purposes, then we can do a mirror on the other side. These are our 2 water extractors. Let's just test that they produce enough water. Yep, that's the 240 that we need. Then we need to take that water upstairs. So let's measure out ourselves a wall. 4 high seems to clear everything. Let me just confirm that. Yep, that looks okay. So this will be the floor for our nuclear reactor. But then these pipes need an up. So if I go into the center of 2 pipes and I put a valve that goes directly upwards, can I then put a floor hole up here? No, I don't even need a floor hole, do I? So I can stand and look at this. If I just stand here and go up, it means each one of these is going to need its own pump. But once pumped up, we should have water here. And if we have water here, we should be able to build nuclear power plants out this way. There's the pipe. So theoretically, a nuclear power plant should go here. Overhangs a little bit. Actually, it's perfectly fine here. And then the water pipe can go into it. And nuclear fuel can travel down this path and go in, and then waste can come out, be stored somewhere. Well, it'll go into a waste processing facility and then plutonium will be stored somewhere. We can probably store it underwater. I don't know if that's a good idea, but I had a thought that we could probably just store this stuff underwater, right? I just realized I'm out of fuel. But we've got heavy turbo fuel in storage now, so we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, alright, that's a nuclear power plant. Let's build a second nuclear power plant. So I tile these next to each other. Will it be able to... You have to like kind of build it analogously. Like that. And then it needs to go down into a pipe. Maybe if I just put some pipes over here. That'll help me out. Now this is the center point. Does it tell me where the center point is? No, I'm just gonna have to guess. Around there. We can go down. Oh, sorry, go up. Like that. And then we just need 2 thingy-mabobs. And do they tile perfectly? Kind of. Not really. The center point shifts a little bit, so I need more spacing out this way. Or I don't care about it. Okay, so the nuclear power plant spacing needs to be more than this one. Okay, I understand now. The center point is like here. Why does it do this? Invalid pipe shape. I don't understand. Sometimes it just like hates it. Now it's working. Just got to get it on the right mode. Ah, we need to do horizontal to vertical to make that valid pipe shape. I see how it is. If we look at it from below, we can kind of see better where it goes, which is about here. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll be close enough to perfect. Then our nuclear power plant needs to go a little bit like here, which is not the most optimal amount of space for the nuclear power plant, but I think this works. And we will need pumps for each side. Now I suppose we just want to mirror that onto the other side, and then that should be our 4 nuclear power plants that we want to try to supply for. And there we are, our 4 nuclear power plants. Oh man, this is going to be pain to supply. Look at these babies though. They look freaking magnificent. They're so huge, and it's reasonably extensible down that way. I imagine we can build another at least 4 more before we hit this cliff. I'm not sure if we will hit this cliff or not, but then we can build a few more that way. Maybe we can take up this entire lake. We need a few more plants for plutonium, or at least 1 more for plutonium, but we'll figure that out. We're not going to power it up or anything like that. We just wanted to sketch out the area. Now we want to clear this area entirely to do the construction of the materials. Just trying to figure out where's the best place to do it. Since our uranium is on this side, it makes sense to do it on this side. That way we don't have to bring the uranium any further than it needs to go. So we'll probably start our factory somewhere over here. Wow, I need more floor for this. These are all just dangling. Much more floor. Seems to be happy with this time around. Well, might as well join it over there and figure out where we can start our factory from. It's going to be a cliffside factory. There's 3 4x4 sections. I'm going to do all this factory in different sections. I might as well just start it from here. This line seems to be as good as any. And then we'll just build a very organic-y factory that will go wherever it ends up going. I think that's a good idea. Alright, fantastic. We have a plan. Let's execute upon that plan. Like, we might have to elevate different sections of our factory accordingly, but we can figure all of that out. Our factory will need a subfloor, and the subfloor, I guess, will just be underneath here. That'll be perfect. Alright, cool. We got a plan. Let's do it. So although we have a plan on how many machines we want to initially construct, we do want this to be scalable. I have a different plan in mind for scalability, and it's something I've been thinking about when I was thinking about how I'm going to design my final factory. And I was thinking about a 1 building per material concept. And then everything can be routed into the subfloor and piped to the next building for processing. And that way it's infinitely scalable upwards, and we just need to add floors on top. So for example, we can build a smelting building, like say a 4x4, and then fill the first floor with smelters, and the ore would come up and into the smelters, and then it would travel up and into more smelters, and then up into more smelters, and then all that smelted stuff will travel all the way back down into the subfloor, and then it'll go into the next building to turn into, say, iron plates, and that'll follow the same concept. So it's still infinitely scalable, just in a vertical direction rather than a horizontal direction, because we've seen from our main factory what that horizontal scaling eventually becomes. Terrible. Well, not terrible, it just becomes massive. And if you look around here, we don't really have that much room to work with before we start hitting cliffs and walls and God knows what. But we will just build, we'll probably leave 2 tiles of space, and then we'll just like start our factory like here somewhere. Hope these trees are all choppable. Apparently I don't need biomass anymore to chop trees. Nope, I do. Alright, I'll go grab some. But anyway, don't need to worry about that right now. What I'm going to do is build a blueprinting machine over here, and we're going to use our new 5x5 blueprints as well. So we've got our Mark II blueprint designer. Surface is too uneven. How big is this thing? I love how it says it's uneven and then I hologram it down and then it's just like, yeah, that's fine. So we'll just build it here. Oh, it's like only one tile bigger, but it feels so much more massive. But we need power over here. So let's start bringing power over here. And then that way we can use our hover pack when we're building as well. We'll make our life slightly easier. Although this turbo fuel is absolutely amazing. Thanks again, Nymeria, for suggesting it. And whoever else suggested it, if anyone else did suggest it. But we've got power right there. So we can just bring power somewhere. And we might as well just bring it to the end of this nuclear power plant. How about that? Then we'll do it like right here. Clips into the rocks a little bit, but so be it. My relationship with clipping now is just very meh. It clips. Don't care anymore. Alright, we've got power to this area. So that means we can bring power over to our blueprint machine. Or we might as well set up the power on this stuff while we're here. I guess each nuclear reactor can just have its own power pole. Because we need to leave room in the middle for the damn belt. We don't like power poles hanging off the edge. Just because I'm going to bring power to the blueprint designer anyway, I might as well set up the power poles. Because we know the nuclear reactor is going to need power one day. It just connects in, right? Like that. Oh, nice. It's straight through the reactor. Beautiful. That can't be dangerous at all. Let's run a power cable straight through the nuclear reactor. Alright, cool. So we've got power now. Connect that to the blueprint. Wait, blueprint thingies don't need power. What am I going crazy? But we will need power to our main base area. So we're going to build our blueprints 5x5 and let's build a floor. I think I want to use concrete constructors as an example because I think we're going to need quite a lot of concrete constructors, 8 to be precise. I think 8 fits on one floor, but we'll use it as an example to see if we can tile one onto the other. So we're in a 5x5 world right now. Let's start with the walls. Seems like a logical starting point as any. Now, I'm a little bit sick of this wall thing. So I think I might actually go back to base and buy some new architecture stuff before we start, actually. I'll be right back. I also thought, since I'm heading back, I might as well bring a formal entranceway to this new section. Link it up with the old sections. And there we go. We enter through here. That makes a lot of sense. Right next to our nuclear power plant. Worked out nicely. Let's get a hypertube going. I don't think I need a crazy hypertube. I think I can just do a normal hypertube from here. By that I mean I just need a hypertube with no whatchamajiggies. Yeah, let's get it going upwards. By that I mean I don't need a hypertube with a cannon. I just need a normal hypertube because this just needs to connect to the quartz area. It's not very far away, so we don't need to go with some crazy hypertube cannon majiggy. We'll get an entrance going here. We'll shove that onto power somewhere. You can see that one. Whoop. And off we go. I have a good feeling about this new nuclear power plant area. That feeling's probably going to fade away real quick. It's good enough. We're at the truck stop where we do quartz. We'll upgrade that to a Mark II power pole and just get power across. Goes through the truck stop. I don't really care about that sort of stuff anymore. And now we have a hypertube that goes down and all the way to our new nuclear reactor power plant area. I don't know why I bothered testing that, but yeah. It works. It's a bit slow. It's just a single entrance hypertube. But it's only got a short distance to travel. And once we're over here, we can go into our big hypertube and head all the way back to base. It's been a while since we did any fix-it shopping. Whoa, what is happening here? That's a big OH&S issue. Now, we should have a bunch of fix-it tickets here. Got 30. And we've been sinking a lot of random stuff, so we should have a bunch of fix-it tickets in the sink too. 45. Alright. I'll take it. We've got so much money to splurge at the shop. All our hard work has finally paid off. We can buy everything. Probably not the cart. Probably not these special things. Don't really care about. Whoa, 1,000 tickets for a golden nut. I don't know why anyone would want a golden nut. But yeah. I don't like dark mode. Everything here is purchased. In organization, we've got pretty much everything purchased. In customizer, we can get the rest of these finishes. We'll take it. We'll take all of it. Unpainted finish. We'll take this grip metal foundation, whatever the heck that is. Concrete foundation. Ah, this is the material that one of my viewers was saying that they really like because it doesn't take iron plate anymore. A great thing to grab early on. I don't think I like it because you can't see the markings between the foundations, and I use those markings a lot. So that's why I generally don't do that sort of stuff. I don't care about these patterns so much. But let's get some of these walls. These walls seem pretty cool. We don't have any variations on our walls at the moment. We can't get that by fix-it roofs. Oh, we haven't got fix-it roofs. So we can get all these cool architectural components now. All these ramps and whatnot, and these quarter things. I don't know, like they might be useful. By doing these corners, we can do some probably like really interesting architecture instead of our boring boxy stuff. We'll take these. How much is that? 62. All right, we can't go too crazy. Maybe we'll get rid of the finishes. I like the copper paint finish. Tilted walls, ramp bundle, inverted ramp bundle. We'll take those. And in architecture, I don't know why I want those. Roofs. Let's get some roofs going. Is that 75 yet? Oh, that's exactly 75. That's all of our stuff. Is there anything that's not super critical? Probably we can get rid of that. I don't know what I'm going to be using quarter pipes for. Get rid of that. Yeah, we'll just do that. Yeah, that'll do. We'll take these for now. I think that's everything that we need. Nothing else is useful. But that's pretty much all of our architectural items that we've gotten.
All fixed vetted materials are tested for toxins, hallucinogens, and other biologically adverse effects. Pioneers are advised not to immerse themselves in these materials and not to lick, eat, breathe in, or otherwise consume them.
And since we're short on fix-it tickets and we have kind of power, we can start sinking some of this stuff. I mean, we're producing a lot of this crap and we haven't been sinking it, so why not? We were short on power before, so that's why we were kind of like, do we want to sink everything and keep producing all these space platform components that we don't really want? But now that we're good, we should be good to do this. Doesn't need to be organized or anything. Just go in. You can just power off anywhere. It doesn't matter right now. There we go. Now it'll start syncing some of these adaptive control units and generating us some more tickets because we are out of tickets. And I don't like being out of tickets. By the way, has Fixmas ended yet? Do we still have numbers? What are we up to? 25. 26. The 26 does not exist on this calendar. That's it. So 25 is the end. So we've gotten everything. No more free fix-it tickets for us. Let's go sync the rest of this crap and then let's get building. Why do I have 10 billion modular frames? It's all from building and dismantling reactors, isn't it? I don't think I need regular fuel anymore either. Keep the supercomputers. Probably don't need 3 billion supercomputers though. Everything else we'll keep. Put our fix-it tickets back and then we'll go back to building. Now with that, I think we're going to be using a lot more power as well to keep producing those ACUs and things like that, but it should be fine. This little project is going to take us probably like 5 hours to do. I might not show all of it on stream, but we will do it all slowly. I don't know how many episodes I'm going to split this into either. Like I can do it. I mean, we'll do new stuff together and then I might skip over a lot of the repetitive crap. But definitely like this architecture stuff that we're trying to set up together at the moment, we will do it together. Look how slow this hypertube is compared to my cannon. It's fine, gets us to our destination and now we can start building. Oh, there's no power here. Is this not close enough to power my thing? This is close enough to power my hover pack, is it not? Alright, jetpack it is. Do you not have power? Oh, you have no power. Silly, I didn't connect the power back after I replaced that thing. Alright, cool. Let me put my hover pack back on. You can hover around and make it easier to build. So my factory needs a front, and I think this is the front. So what I'm thinking is we use this section as a front. Let me do the sides first. We got new walls as well. Let's check it out. We got fix-it wall, concrete wall, or steel wall. I really like the idea of a steel wall. So let's try steel wall. So our factory, every level is still going to be 3 high. So let's just start boxing it in first. Always start with a box when you don't know what you're doing. Do we like these steel walls? I don't know. We'll have to see when the full factory is done. Now we want some windows, and we'll do a different window style this time. Let's just try the full frame window. What if we did something like that? And then this way it can segregate each level very easily instead of what we used to do. That looks really nice. Now we kind of want to distinguish the front and the back of the factory so it doesn't look too boxy. So we might do a double window like this. Does this look nice, guys? Do we like this steel frame factory? I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. What if we did fix-it walls, but gave it a finish? Because remember, we're in blueprint mode, so it doesn't matter if we do this weird. Carbon steel finish. I think I like the carbon steel finish on this better. Alright, I'm going to change all that. So we'll make it these normal fix-it walls, because I kind of like these fix-it walls. But we will give it the carbon steel finish. That way, I'm kind of like really sick of the orange. Right. Now, we want to distinguish the front a little bit from the rest of the factory. So I might try some stuff over here. I'll be back when that's done. Yeah, I was trying to design this sort of like indent in the front of the factory. And I think this looks kind of nice. I mean, it's not perfectly aligned. I don't know how to get diagonal things done properly. But I think this is a good start. It looks alright. I actually kind of like this. Why does this pillar look different to this pillar? No matter. My only issue with this is the clipping over here. I don't like this clipping, and I don't want to see it every time I go to the second floor of my factory. Let me see what this looks like if I put two on top of one another. So the concept is, like, I'm going to even put all the machines into the building too. So yeah, in blueprint mode, well, I can't do it in blueprint mode, but I can put it down somewhere. I should be able to align it with the foundation on the floor perfectly, in theory. Yeah. So it'll be like that. That'll be like a building. And then I should be able to build another one on top of it when I need a second level, right? If I do it in blueprint mode, it's actually nice and easy. That's not the right direction. It'll look like this. I just want to see if the clipping on the floor happens when I put in a second level. But this building looks pretty cool. I really like this. It actually looks like architectural and stuff. It's just this part that clips. So we can hide this clipping over here somehow. With, say, like, another 3 foundations. I'm okay with the hole there. That actually looks okay to me. I mean, there's a little bit of clipping and weirdness going on through the window over here. But it's actually alright. I actually don't mind this. There's no triangle that I can use to fill this part, but... And then you kind of come down into the factory, right? And if we add like a little ramp, this foundation is not perfectly centered between these two pillars. I actually don't mind this at all, honestly. If I can build this properly, there's no more visual clipping, and the first floor looks fine. Do we like this? Nice little looking building. Yeah, I think this actually looks great. I'm just going to try to align all this a little bit better so that it's a little bit more centered, because at the moment, as you can see, nothing is perfectly centered, and that's going to be really, really annoying later on for all my alignment. So I'm going to rebuild the front over here, but follow the same concept and try to get it a lot more centered and aligned. But yeah, I like this like indent sort of thing going on, and it looks pretty good as a 2-story building. Alright, I realigned the front, so everything should look a lot better. Let's drop 2 of these on top of one another and see what that looks like. Okay, so this pillar needs to go up 1 more to connect. Oh, that extra little bit makes it a little bit annoying to drop the blueprint on top of one another. It's annoying. How do I shift the blueprint down 1? So the construction of this is going to be a little bit annoying, but theoretically, yeah, okay. So this part that I'm building with the ramp and stuff needs to be just manually built, or a separate blueprint needs to be like shoved onto here to hide all that clipping. But theoretically, we should be able to build something like this, and then 1 more on top. And then we'll make another blueprint to do the clipping hiding part. Actually, there's no more clipping. What happened to my clipping? Oh, right. I built them the wrong way. thought it just magically solved the clipping issue. Go have a look. There's the front. I like it. And actually, there is no more clipping issue. There's like a tiny little bit of flicker, but I'm actually okay with that. We don't even actually need this thing. Oh, I don't know. There's like a little bit of clipping here from this wall. That's normally all hidden behind like perfectly lined up things, but like this isn't even any like weird construction I'm doing. Normally it's just sitting on the edge here. What does it look like without this wall? Actually doesn't even need that wall. And without that wall, it solves all the clipping issues, except for this little tiny little bit. But I think I'm okay with that. It doesn't need to be perfect now. It just looks decent. I don't waste too much time on doing this. But yeah, we just remove this wall then. And we'll just call this our blueprint. It looks like a decent factory. It gives that front little bit, gives it a little bit more sort of interestingness to it. So next we just need to put in the machines in here now. We're going to save this and we're going to put it into a new directory. And we're going to call this... Wait, what? Add category. Rename it. We'll call this 5x5 building floors. Smelter. Wait, we're not doing a smelter, we're doing a constructor. Great. Now we can set the directory to this. Undefined, undefined. How do I set the directory? I want this directory. Okay, apparently it doesn't let you set the directory. I'll just move it later. We'll just call this building base. One floor. Single floor. Empty. Alright, we can save that blueprint. And we can drag this, I hope, to there. There we go. Single floor empty. Now we can fill this floor with machines. And we can figure out what a good way to do that is. We're in a 5x5 floor, so we can do like a set of machines here and then a set of machines here, and then we can add to it. So I think each floor, like if you look at a blender, for example, it'll probably be a 4-high building, but it'll only fit like one machine on each side, which will be a bit annoying for belting and stuff like that, but we only need to do it once. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're going to do constructors here. So the input and the output, that's an interesting question. Let's just do it here to start with. Give it enough room in the back for inputting and outputting. Can we fit 3 constructors here? We can. So if the input comes in from this side, for example, we pretty much want it to go into, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to bring the input out of the floor because that's where it would go, right? So let's just try that. We'll figure it out as we go. We need to put this floor hole into an actual key binding because we're going to be using it a lot now. I don't have a spare key binding I can use. Now I'll just do it here on the 3rd bar. Oh no, I can't put the floor hole as part of the blueprint. That's super annoying. Okay. So we're going to have to pretend there's a floor hole coming out here. And then they're going to feed into these constructors, right? Whatever material it is. We'll build everything as Mark 5 lifts. See if that fits. Just barely, like right against the window. So we can build our constructors a little bit more forward then. They're like 2 tiles forward, perfectly aligned against the center. And then say the input comes in here. We'll do all the inputting on the 2nd floor so the belts don't clip. So say there's a lift that goes through the subfloor here, which we can't build into the blueprint, that's fine. There'll be a floor hole somewhere here. Then we can build like this, and then we need more constructors. Like this. And then that input belt will loop around. And come in this way. Like that. Then from here, the input belt needs to go and travel upstairs in the same place that it came in from here to go feed upstairs. Now, as for the output, it needs to go downstairs. Oh, interesting. So the input's always traveling upstairs to feed the future floors. So maybe we should do the input on the 3rd floor. Let me fix that. And then how do we get the input upstairs? So the input comes, let's just do it the simplest way we know how, which is just putting a floor hole here and then lifting it up, right? And then the input will continue to travel upstairs. I don't want the top part of the belt. I just want, yeah. So then the input's going to come out here for that level. And then we need to get the input over to the other side via a lift. So we can't put anything on this level because of reasons. But basically when we're on this level, we can put the input out and then it can go and travel over there. Did something just shoot me? Go away, I'm trying to design a blueprint here. I think it's dead. So yeah, if we do the input the simplest way, it just goes upstairs like that. Let's see what we're going to do about the output. The output will probably just be centered and then it'll go forward and travel down there. So let's do the output on the 2nd level to give walkway distance. So we want a merger in between these two. It won't let me build it, but basically we want the merger to go that way. So that's it. And then anything that's merged will always travel downwards. I can't build a conveyor wall hole on the floor, but basically we just need to add the conveyor hole and then send the output downwards. And we've got to figure out how to merge outputs between 2 floors. So we can assume there's going to be an output coming out here somewhere. So let's build a conveyor hole directly up here. So that's where the output from the next level is going to come from. We can use a lift to bring the output down, and we need to merge it with this output. And then send it down even further. So the output needs to like come down. Merges with the upstairs output. And then it goes back down into a lift hole exactly where it is. How would we do that? It would be like here. And then like maybe there is, yeah, exactly. Like that and then that. It will be 2 lifts that sends it further down. I think that works. We're going to have to test with an actual test case. But how does that look as a building? It looks pretty cool. I like it. I probably want to use a new swash for this stuff, because I really don't like the default Factorio swash. Which machines do we like the best? Green? No. Yellow, bright purple. Kind of just like the black and red highlights. They kind of look cool. Matches our aesthetic, I think. I'm sure there's a way to like change your default swash for all your buildings, so I don't have to go around and paint everything afterwards. But I like that. We can leave the belts orange. I don't mind the belts being default colored. It's a pretty nice factory. I like that. Now we just need to worry about power. So let's hook up the power. We'll go directly above it. Does not look directly above it. Alright, that's the power. We'll hook all that up. I mean, the room looks a little bit cramped. That's all. But I mean, I'm fitting everything into a 5x5 blueprint, so it's gonna look a little bit cramped. That's fine. Just testing it out. I mean, this whole thing could fail miserably and I might hate it and never do it again. But hey, if it works, it works. Alright, we'll hook up the power. Just like that. That should all be aligned. Now we'll get power out into the world. Double wall outlet's gonna go somewhere. Oh, I can't do double wall outlets because of the blueprint. Ugh, how annoying. I can do it here actually. Oh, but it comes out at the same angle as that. I don't know if that's worth doing in the blueprint, but I guess we'll just try it and find out. And there's the power outlet out into the world. Sure. Now, that's all the inputs and outputs done, I think. We got to test if this actually works. All this could have just been a gigantic waste of time, but if it is, then so be it. Yeah, I think this should work pretty well. What am I missing? Lights. All right, let's see what light options are available to us. There's ceiling lights and wall-mounted floodlights. I mean, we hate the ceiling lights. Our only other option is wall-mounted floodlights, which we can put along here. Does that clip into everything? It does. Can you like rotate them at all? Oh, you can rotate them. That's awesome. But then that clips too high. We have to put it on the window for it to be like out. And what if we just put one here and one here? Does that look okay? Looks pretty crazy in the middle. And we can put two matching ones here, I guess. That should be enough lighting for the room, right? Hook that up to power somewhere. Guess it needs to go onto the roof first. Alright. I think that's done. I think we're pretty happy with a factory that looks like this, right? Let's test this crazy monstrosity out. So this is 6 times constructors for 1 floor. Alright, let's check it out. Let's check it out from all angles. It looks pretty cool. I like it. Let's test it out. I just have to put down a main road down so we know where we can build factory sections. Obviously, there's not enough room past this rock, but we can do a lot of factory over this side where there's a forest after we chop down everything. This will extend our factory out that way. Underneath here is plenty of water that we can pump for sulfuric acid and whatnot. So we should be pretty sweet on that front. I guess the first section of the factory would just start right here. So let's try out our new blueprint. And I think everything should just face the main road. I think makes the most sense. So let's check out our new blueprint. We'll move that to there. And we'll start chucking this down. Face it the right way. Alright, there we go. There is our first new room. And it looks pretty sweet from the road, I think. Once it builds. What happened to my windows? There we go. I think that looks pretty sweet. We'll need to bring power to this side of the world. Hook up the power, see what the lights look like. It's so bright. It's so bright and specular. It looks pretty neat in the nighttime, but it's a little bit crazy at the moment. We'll probably have to do some lighting control at some point, but yeah, that's our factory. Looks pretty sick. A little bit too bright, but we can turn down the lighting. That's fine. I like it. What do you guys think? Alright, let's test its functionality by building a second floor now. I just have to do blueprint mode and flip it the right direction. And there's our second floor. Now let's do a little bit of sanity testing on how the first floor and the second floor might link. First of all, power. How do we link the first floor and second floor's power? We should just use this outside cable, right? That works pretty nicely. So all we have to do is link this and this. Then the second floor also has power. Now, how do we transport the materials? So this is the output, right? So when the output comes out, we just need to link this and this. So my floor hole is a little bit out of position. Or no, it's not out of position. That is the correct floor hole. Oh crap, I didn't mean to dismantle that floor hole. What have I done? Well, let's go from the second floor and see what I've done makes sense. If I put the floor hole, say, here, can I put a lift down? I can. Nice. Are these two linked? I think they are directly linked. And then let's have a look at underneath. If the floor hole is there now, it's a little bit awkward to get this into this. Has to be like that. Okay, I see what I've done in my blueprint. And then it goes out there. Okay, so we need to edit the blueprint so that that makes sense. So the floor hole is going to be directly underneath the merger, and therefore it needs to be directly above the merger, which is around here. Then we need a lift that takes this down like this. And then it needs to go down into this merger, like that. That takes the stuff from the top level into the merger. We'll save that blueprint before we forget. So that should work for the merging, but what about the materials going up? So if the material comes from the first floor up onto the second floor here, we need to then make the material travel into here. So that is going to be a manual task, right? Yeah. And it's directly on top of it, so we got to do it a little bit carefully. Otherwise we clip it like this, right? We don't want to do that. We need a lift that comes up 1, 2, like that. Then that lifts it perfectly up there. So this part we're going to have to do manually each time because we can't put a conveyor hole and a lift coming out of nowhere into the blueprint. But then essentially we want to bring it over like this. Or can we just go straight in? I don't like that. It'll clip the light like this, but it works. That's not too hard to build. Looks a little bit messy and a little bit of manual labor, but that should get the input flowing between floors, and that works. And then it goes up another floor and then it continues and so on and so forth. I believe that works. Let's put some input in and try to make some concrete and see if that actually works. Okay, so we need the input coming in from under the subfloor. So this part is again all manual, but basically we just want it to come down a conveyor hole around here. And we need limestone going in here. So we're going to go find some limestone. Let's just have a look at underneath. Yep, we've got the conveyor hole that we need. Now we need a subfloor to deal with all this, but we'll worry about that later. But that's our new building. Looks really cool. I like it. And it fits in a 5x5 blueprint. The sides look a little bit boring, but whatever. And we can put more buildings like next to it, like here and here and here and so forth. And then on the other side of the road when space allows. And we should get a really city block looking design thing going, I think. And then we can even look at putting a roof on top and we should be sweet. At the moment, there's no roof. That's why it looks a little bit awkward on top. But once we put the roof in, it should be sweet. Yeah, I think I like this. I think. Still a little bit indecisive, but yeah. Alright, let's go find some limestone. And we'll go test it out if it actually works. Wow, there's actually no limestone anywhere near here. Our closest limestone is over there, which is a normal rarity limestone, or over there. Well, that's a bit annoying. That's near the copper mine. There's a normal rarity limestone. We'll have to belt it all the way over here. Alright, I guess we're going to belt some limestone. It's for our nuclear power, so we want everything to function off belts. We don't want any weird things causing issues. Should probably do the subfloor with blueprints, eh? Something trying to kill me down here. There's two somethings trying to kill me down here. Alright. Get the subfloor going. This is the road. Do our standard 2-tile subfloor. Get that going. Get out of here. Oh my god, it won't. Get out of here. Can't move. Or whale thing. Sorry buddy, you're in the way of progress. These things have so much health. Oh, poor thing. Alright, can't do any more this way, so we'll just do the subfloor out that way. And we'll head towards the limestone. I don't think I need to scan for the limestone, it's just up in front of me, right? It's over there. It's not too far away, I don't mind belting this back. Whoa. Is it down there? I don't mind belting this back, but... Or is it over there? Tell me it's over there. It's not down there. It is down there with my copper mines. God, this is going to be nasty to belt up. Walked past it. It's somewhere. It's there. Oh man. Where am I going to do this from? Do I want a gigantic limestone belt going this way? Where's the other limestone? It was over there somewhere. Let's go check out the other sources. Alright, so we decided to go for the limestone source directly north of us instead of going for that one down there. Even though this one is slightly closer distance-wise, that vertical drop over here is ridiculous, and I'm not going to try to belt it over. So we're going to take this one over in the north. I've got a path back to base, so we're just going to drop a mine up. A pretty long path, but nothing we can't handle. Nothing we haven't done before. Why can't I change my build mode? Straight, please. And who knows, there's probably other resources out in this direction that we need later on other than limestone. I know the copper is pretty close by, so we don't have to worry about copper very much. What is this thing doing? I mean, it's far, but it's not too far. We need to run power back here and get this powered up at some point as well. But because this is for a power system and probably our main source of power going forward, we want to not avoid any logistic systems. We want to go with old reliable, the belt. We know there's no points of failure in a belt. Who knows what could possibly go wrong if we use other things. Man, imagine if someone made a Factorio style mod for this game where the monsters keep respawning and attacking you. That would be sick. And then I implement like defenses and stuff like that. Turrets, fences, electric fences, all that fun stuff. Anyway, let me go grab this Mercer sphere while I'm up here. That did not exist before I flew. Ow. Burning. Ow. Trying to shoot the... You still alive? Can't tell. One down. It is still alive. Now it's dead. Is that one dead? We'll take a free Mercer sphere at the top of the world. Alright, now that Ada stopped blabbing on, let's run the rest of our belt. And here I was thinking I was going to do nuclear power in one episode. This is going to take forever. Now I probably want to run it into the subfloor. That looks good, doesn't it? Let me extend my subfloor out. I suppose this doesn't need to be subfloor anymore because it's just regular floor. Let's see if it matches. Always looks better with a subfloor. Kind of, and then it goes into the actual floor, so we'll stop here. Yeah, we'll just bring it down the actual floor here. We're not going to worry about making our subfloor inclined and stuff like that. All of this will be hidden. No one's ever going to come down here. Now, our subfloor runs directly into the machine, so in theory, we should just be able to drag a belt like this. That's horrible. And then belt it in like that. Alright. So that should get limestone in once I power it. So let's figure out how to get power across. First we need to get power over to this side. And then we'll get it over there. Now this should have power. Yep. Oh man, our max consumption is still creeping ever so close to our production, but we're still good. Our actual consumption is very, very low. Alright, I'm going to run power all the way back to the limestone mine, and I'll be back when that's done. Alright, we made it. So we should be able to extract limestone from this source now, and we've got a really long belt all the way back to base. We're producing 240. Let's just power shard it up to 480, just because I don't know how much I actually need. But we'll go with 480. 480 seems like a good number. This is a miner Mark III, right? This must be a really terrible source of limestone. Yeah, we'll keep it at 480, and I think that should be enough concrete. An unsaturated Mark V belt actually looks terrible. It looks like we're not producing anything, but actually this is a Mark V belt and it's super fast. Alright, back at base with our limestone now flowing, we can see that these concrete makers are actually working. Fantastic, and concrete is being pulled out here and spat out here, ready to go into the subfloor to go into our next processing buildings. Let's see how that plays with the second floor. We'll copy the concrete settings. And we'll go up to the second floor. Oops. I just copied instead of pasted. Are these all set already? Not these ones. And there we go. Just like that, we have 12 constructors making concrete now. That will consume the whole belt, but we only have 480. And that's producing 160 concrete, which is way more than enough for this system. I only did 2 floors on this concrete system just to test it out. But it seems like it's all working. Can we see if the one from the top is coming down properly? Not really, because it's all done by this belt, but I'm gonna assume it's working. We'll have to sync it to see if everything's flowing. And I can't be bothered doing that right now. Let's just put it into an industrial storage container. I don't even have a floor hole here yet. The floor hole should go right here. And then a lift should take it down. And now we've got concrete coming out here. If I build myself a storage container, concrete should be flowing in here very quickly. Wow, there's another hog down there. Wow. Alright, let's have a look at all these are working now. This bottom floor is all green, which is what I like to see. This is all green now. Yep, concrete is indeed flowing out. And obviously we don't have enough limestone to supply all of these machines. But yes, concrete does indeed flow down from the second floor all the way through and down to the first floor. Fantastic. This is exactly what we wanted. And then if we need more, we just need to obviously supply more concrete, but then we build upwards. And this should work. This concept should work for every single building, basically. Oh my god. They all respawn. They can't charge past my belt. Yes, they can. I just want to deconstruct this because I don't want too many concretes. Leave me alone. Alright, you guys can live under my subfloor. I don't really care. You can't get up here and you can't hurt me through the floor. But yeah, I think this concept works fantastically. We just need to turn down the lighting because it's a little bit obnoxious. Let me put in a lighting control system somewhere. We'll need to power it. And then if we just put the control light onto here, that should control all these lights. Let's just test it by making it red. Yep. And it should control all the upstairs lights too. Let me just go and test that. Yep. Beautiful. That's looking awfully ominous. So we just want to turn the intensity down to like maybe 50%. And then we just make it white. It can be on all day, all night. I don't really mind it. And then the specularness on the roof should be a little bit better. Not really. But yeah, that's looking alright. You can turn night mode on and see what that looks like. It's just that specular on the roof is a little bit much when you sort of like look into the factory. But I don't mind it. Looks fine to me. The only thing that we're missing is a stair system to go up and down the factory. But I don't know if we need one. Do we need a stair system? Because we're always going to have our jetpack or our hoverpack. So traversal is not too difficult. We might use a hypertube system, I guess, at some point to go up and down the floors. We'll think about that later. Don't think we need to build that into the blueprint because we don't know how tall most buildings are even going to be. Not that we can build it into the blueprint because our blueprint, we can't build past the first floor. We'll be able to stack these buildings on top of one another. So I think this is pretty good. And now we've got our first material, concrete. We've got a billion more materials to do before we get our nuclear power plants online. But this is looking fantastic. The start of a brand new factory design. And it looks schmick as. I like it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you think of this design. If it's ugly, if it's terrible, if it clips too much. You guys let me know how I can improve it. And I will implement your suggestions. Alright, that's all for this episode. We'll do the rest all in the next episode. We're going to build plenty of stuff all along here, all up along here. Over there, we'll cut down all these trees, build ourselves a tiny little mini factory that's capable of producing all the fuel for uranium, processing all that waste into plutonium, and then fueling the plutonium. But we'll leave it here for now. If you don't want to miss out on that, don't forget to leave a like and sub, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.